Hey guys, Steven Martinez with The American Dream. I just want to say a big thanks to all our supporters and fans. It's because of you guys that we're able to keep growing. Having said that, please don't forget to follow and subscribe. It means a lot to us. That's what helps us keep growing. And also, I hope you guys enjoy the next episode. Hey guys, welcome back to The American Dream Podcast. Your host, Steven Martinez. I'm here with a phenomenal guest, Howard Partridge, the phenomenal coach. Good to see you, brother.
Good to see you.
Long overdue.
Yes, sir.
So let's get into it, man. For anyone that doesn't know Howard, I guess to sum up a little bit about your upbringing to where you are now. Obviously, you're clearly successful. Talk to me about who is Howard.
Well, I'm originally from L.A., Lower Alabama, and my wife doesn't laugh at my jokes either. See, you didn't even get that joke, did you?
I didn't get it. I was trying to process it.
L.A., Lower Alabama.
Okay.
So usually I say L.A.
Okay.
And like when I do my events and stuff, I got like a really nice suit on. They're like, oh, nice. And I'm like, Lower Alabama.
Yeah.
And they're like, ha ha. Anyway, so I grew up on welfare. I was very poor growing up. There were 7 kids crammed in a little 600 square foot shack in Mobile, Alabama. And on welfare, there was the roof on that house was so bad that every time it rained, we had to get out all the pots and pans to catch the leaks. My mother fed us on $100 a month from the welfare department. And when I was 17 years old, I was a wild teenager, wrecked a couple of cars, got in some trouble, and got kicked out of the house by my stepfather. My real dad left when I was a year old and came here to Houston.
Okay.
And so I had 2 more stepdads. And so my second stepdad, third dad, got in a fight with him. He kicked me out of the house. And I had no money. I got on a Greyhound bus to Houston, and literally had 25 cents in my pocket when I got here.
How did you start that journey, having 25 cents in your pocket in Houston? What was the first move?
Well, I lived with my dad, and I worked a few, different jobs. He helped me get a job. But I ended up being a professional waiter at some of the top restaurants here in Houston. And
oh, wow. Okay.
So I wore a tuxedo to work. I did all this like tableside cooking, steak Diane, bananas Foster, cherries Jubilee, and setting stuff on fire inside at that age was pretty cool, let me tell you.
Yeah.
But I didn't have money to speak of. I just, really made enough money to pay the rent. And then I met my wife, Denise Conjette Antoinette Pinella. Now that's Italian. She's from New Jersey. I'm from Lower Alabama. This could be a good match,
Yeah.
And so we got married in New Jersey, married into an Italian family. And when you marry an Italian family, you don't get cash. I mean, you don't get wedding presents. You get cash, right?
Oh, wow. I didn't know
that. Yeah, so they actually make an envelope that goes with the dress. It's like the same fabric and everything, and it's perfectly sized for envelopes. And so the envelope has cash inside and maybe a note or whatever.
Yeah.
And so the relatives come in, hey, how you doing? And put the
takes
envelope in there. Yeah. And so after the wedding, we spread out all the envelopes on the bed and started counting up the money. We had $3,000. And
what year was this?
This was I was 23, so this was over 40 years ago. This was 1984.
I guess I'm trying to calculate the inflation with the 300 then to how much that's
3,000.
Okay.
Then
So that's maybe like what? Maybe like $40,000 worth of money today, something like that.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Give or take, more or less.
I don't think so.
Less?
Way less, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't think it's that much.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'll continue. So
$3,000 even back then didn't buy much. I'll
Really?
tell you exactly what it bought. So what happened was, there was a friend of the family, same age as me, 23 at the time.
Yeah.
He's tooling around a little red Mercedes convertible, and I said, I want to know what that guy does. I want to know if it's legal, right?
Yeah.
So it turns out he had his own business. So I get back to Houston, and I started investigating some different businesses. And I started my first business out of the trunk of my car when I was 23 right here in Houston.
What was the business?
Well, it's still in existence today. As
Wow.
a matter of fact, it's a cleaning business. And so that business today is a multi-million-dollar business, turnkey. And what we do is we take care of oriental rugs and natural stone floors for some of Houston's most prominent citizens, celebrities, people who live in these high rises right here.
Yeah.
George and Barbara Bush, former
Right.
President Bush and Barbara Bush, they were clients of ours before they passed away. And so I started that business with wedding money a little over 40 years ago. Built it up, multi-million-dollar business, turnkey business. And I was involved with our industry some, like seminars and things like that. People wanted to know how I was doing what I was doing. So I decided to start teaching people my methods. That was about 26 years ago. And so I started writing books and doing seminars and events and coaching and stuff like that. And so today we coach in over 100 different industries in 20 different countries. And we train people on my methods. We have a coaching program, so they get training, they get support and accountability. And then, as you know, I do 4 events a year for my coaching members. They fly in from all over the place.
What are some of those key elements? You don't have to say all of them, but just one of those key traits that someone could kind of take from watching this video on how to be successful as an entrepreneur.
Yeah, so the first part is personal development. And one thing that happened along the way is my company became the exclusive small business coaching company for the Zig Ziglar Corporation. I got to know Zig, and I invited him down here, and he spoke for me in November of 2008. And I got to know his son and his daughters and started building a relationship with them. And so I still work with them today. In fact, I have a meeting with Tom this afternoon. And so now I help them run that company. I help them run the Zig Ziglar Corporation. And so the first thing that's important as an entrepreneur is desire, okay? And probably a lot of people that are watching this, they're watching this because they have that desire. They want something, right? I knew that I wanted to have my own business since I was a kid. I mean, I cut grass and I did everything that I could to make money. It took me a long time to learn how to keep money.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
I knew how to make money.
Yeah.
So anyway, so the first is desire and good personal habits. We just finished. I just got back night before last. So yesterday's Sunday, today's Monday, right? So I just got back Saturday night at an event in Orlando, and we had the legend Brian Tracy, who's all about habits and goals. So study Zig Ziglar, study Brian Tracy, and get your personal habits down, because desire is not enough. You need to, in fact, I wrote a book called FTI, Failure to Implement. The number one reason that people aren't more successful, the number one reason that people don't reach their biggest dreams and goals is because of what I call FTI, failure to implement. You know what to do, you know how to do it, you just don't do it. And there's reasons that people don't do it. And the biggest reason is a lack of desire. Mr. Ziglar said that the secret ingredient to success is desire. But a lot of people don't have desire because they don't have a vision. And they don't have a vision because they don't really believe that they're going to get there. So people don't set goals. They don't do the things that they need to do because deep down they don't believe. And 90% of our belief system is subconscious beliefs, right? And so you can retrain your subconscious beliefs, but through the conscious mind. But anyway, the point is, but then you have the people like the people who are watching this who have desire. Man, I want to grow. I want to be a business owner. I want to be an entrepreneur. And so if you have a vision, then and you have belief, then you have to work on your habits. You have to work on the strategies. You have to work on those kinds of things, and you got to implement. Right? You gotta live your life by certain principles. Learn business strategies. So everybody who's watching this should congratulate themselves because you're putting new information in your mind. Mr. Ziglar said that you are what you are and where you are because of what has gone in your mind. And you can change what you are and where you are by changing what goes in your mind. So then we get, the other thing is the greatest life lesson, or business lesson, I should say, that I've ever learned is the one and only reason your business exists is to be a vehicle to help you achieve your life goals. A lot of people go into business and it destroys their life. It destroys their marriage, destroys their health, and destroys their family because there's nothing easy about building a business, right? So one of the things that I do is help people balance. So first, get your life goals first. And as you're designing your business, be careful to design your business to help you achieve those life goals rather than just business needs this. So, the business just like burns you out because I want to get to the next level, I want to get to the next level, I want to get to the next level. But, you know, more money isn't going to fix your family. You know, there's times we don't have enough money and we need to work harder and, you know, we need to sacrifice a little bit. But don't sacrifice your family. Don't sacrifice what you really want. In fact, Mr. Ziegler said the chief cause of failure and unhappiness is trading what you want most for what you want right now. What most people want most is freedom. You want to have, you know, you want to have good health. You want to have a good family. You want to be prosperous. You want to have a balanced life. And too many entrepreneurs just go all out for the business, but they forget what they really want most. And it's not a good trade-off.
I agree. Or they look for that short-term pleasure as well. You know, let me do this or do that. You mentioned Zig Ziglar a lot. Was he a key mentor in your life? How has he impacted you to who you are now?
Changed my life completely.
In what way?
A lot of ways. One is understanding who you are and whose you are. Number two, how to reach goals. Number three, how to carry yourself, how to have character, how to think of yourself. And then, of course, when I started working with Ziglar and became their exclusive small business coach, Tom and I talk almost every day. He speaks at almost all my events, and I run their Ziglar coaching summit, and I work really closely with the organization. In fact, when Mr. Ziglar passed away, I was in Australia speaking for Ziglar on a 5-city tour, and so his wisdom is life changing. So there's two key things about Mr. Ziglar. As I mentioned earlier, you are what you are and where you are because what has gone in your mind. You can change what you are and where you are by changing what goes in your mind. And the most important thing that you can put in your mind is who you are. Mr. Ziglar said that human beings are born to win. You're designed for accomplishment, engineered for success, endowed with the seeds of greatness. After all, God don't make no junk. And you're asking me before the show how phenomenal came in the picture.
There you go, yeah.
And so when I started my coaching business, it wasn't a coaching business. I was just teaching people how I was doing stuff. So it was an information marketing business. And so I wrote manuals and I had DVDs and recordings. I wasn't even doing seminars. I had a package, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah. DVDs, that's throwing me way back, man.
Way back, yeah, way back, yeah. And so I had a package that I sold. I mean, CDs.
Yeah.
Actually, take that back. Rewind a little bit farther, cassette tapes.
Man, I don't think I was even born.
You weren't even born when I was doing cassette tapes.
I don't think so.
I have a friend here in Houston, very successful guy. And when I first started this, I recorded a seminar. It was a one-day seminar, and I had like a little cassette tape, package. And he came by my office one day and he said, "So what are you up to?" And I said, "Well, I'm starting this new business. And I gave him these cassettes. And he didn't tell me at the time. He didn't tell me this until about 2 years ago. He says, "Man, I listened to those cassettes," and I thought, Howard better stick with his day job, right? Because I don't think this is going to work. I wasn't the best speaker around. I was trying to figure it all out. I didn't have a good mentor at that time. I was trying to fill a need. The reason I went in the business to start with is because people weren't getting good information, Anyway, so Mr. Ziglar said that, and so what happened was I was starting this business, and I was trying to come up with a name. And my nephew, who was only 15 at the time, he was sleeping on my couch because he had, burned out all of his other family relationships. We were brainstorming, and we just, he happened to be staying at my house at the time. And so we're going back and forth on names. And I had products, so products was going to be part of the name. And somehow the word phenomenal popped out, and I just went, that's it. It just clicked, right? And so for 26 years, I've had phenomenal products. And when I started doing coaching and training and all that and events, I thought, well, maybe that was a mistake. Until my mentor, my early mentor, wisest man that I know, came and spoke at my conference here in Houston. Most of my conferences are actually here in Houston. And he came to speak at one of my conferences. This was early on. He said, Howard's products are phenomenal, but I'm here to tell you that you are the phenomenal product.
Oh, wow.
And I went, that's
Boom.
it.
Trademarked it, all that.
Yeah. So you are a phenomenal product, created to be phenomenal, to do phenomenal things, and to have a phenomenal life.
Yeah.
And so phenomenal has just been a part of it, right? One of my clients who is, I actually franchised my coaching company recently, so people can buy a franchise and become a phenomenal business coach. And
beautiful.
This young couple that's here in, well, young, they're almost 50. So that's young to me, but anyway, they're just kids. They seem like kids. And her daughter's is like taking these goofy pictures, like you can get really close to somebody on a .05 on an iPhone, and their head is like oblong like this. Yeah. So she takes that picture of me, and she adds a caption to it, because I'm like this. And she says, how Howard looks when somebody says good instead of phenomenal, right? Because I ask you how you're doing. If you don't say phenomenal, then something's wrong. You ask me how I'm doing,
phenomenal,
then, and I don't say phenomenal, you really know something's wrong.
So let me interrupt and add on to what you're saying right there. So I think it's something very valuable with the power of words and how you use to decipher that.
100%.
So for someone that's young and they have these visions, these goals, maybe their lifestyle, maybe their upbringing was rough. And they want to be successful. And I always preach this. I think your thoughts become words, your words become actions, and it's very important to train your subconscious mind through that. How do you train your subconscious mind to become that?
Yeah, so I think first of all, what you have to accept is that you are a phenomenal product. And most people, especially young people, live their life by circumstance, like this happened or that happened, it's hot, it's cold, I had this problem, that problem, or this happened or that happened. And even today, a lot of people live their life that way. And, the American dream, I live the American dream. I mean, even people, I have neighbors, I have a home in Destin, Florida, and they're multi-gazillionaires. They don't have the lifestyle that I have. I mean, they got a lot of money, but the thing is one of the drawbacks is that in America is that there's so much opportunity and all that kind of stuff. You can start doing this whole comparison thing, like, well, I'm not. I mean, they're richer than me, they got better looking than me, they're smarter than me, whatever. And I think it's important for all human beings, not just there's so much entertainment to keep people occupied, right? And what's important if you want to be successful is to have what Mr. Ziglar calls a healthy self-image. So you are phenomenal because you're made that way. It's your position. That's who we are as human beings. We're made in God's image. We're different than the animals, okay? And so when we know who we are and whose we are, we know that I have value. So a lot of kids who have been through a lot of trouble, their emotions and their subconscious says that you're worth less. You're worthless. You're worth less than somebody else. So therefore, I'm worthless. I'm no good. I can't. That's somebody else. That's not me. Now, we shouldn't be arrogant. We shouldn't think too highly of ourselves. But I think the most important thing is that people, you understand that you have value, that you're a valuable human being, that you have gifts, and you can use those gifts and you can solve problems for other people, which brings me to the second Ziglar quote, because you asked me how he changed my life. And so the first one is mindset, understanding who you are and whose you are. The second one is how to get everything you want in life. So if anybody's interested in that.
That's a big one.
It's a big one.
Yeah.
Mr. Ziglar said that you can have everything in life you want if you'll just help enough other people get what it is that they want.
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
True.
So first you got to know what what everybody wants, right? I know what I want, you know what you want, but it turns out that everybody wants the same 9 things. Everybody wants to be happy. They want to be healthy. They want to be at least reasonably prosperous. They want to have friends. They want to have peace of mind. They want to have good family relationships. They want to feel secure. They want to have hope for the future. And every human being on the planet wants to love and be loved, right?
Yep.
And so you just start with the ninth one. If you just love other people, then you help other people, you serve other people, you're going to get what you want. And so if you don't have the life or the business that you want, then the first place to look is, how do I help more people? Mm-hmm. Right? You're talking about, all these people who have scaled up. They just help more customers than the next guy. That's all. Bingo. They figured out how to scale their business to a place where they're reaching more people, right? So you're qualified. You can, it's not maybe, have everything in life, all 9 things, if you'll help enough other people. Yeah. You don't have enough yet. You just got to help more people, right?
What makes you, I guess now in today's world with everything going on, I can see that mindset of the winner's mentality, which I love. Yeah. What keeps you going, I guess, really from day to day, just wanting to keep winning?
Yeah, so what keeps me going is purpose. Yeah. And I think that what happens is people either lose their purpose, they don't understand their purpose. I'm teaching this tomorrow morning to my group, and this is one of the things I teach in my book, FTI, is there's actually 10 principles in there. And one of them is the purpose principle, because if you don't know why you're doing something, when things get hard, you're just going to go like, this stinks. I don't want to do this anymore, or whatever. Yeah. And there's a lot of entrepreneurs that jump all over the place, like getting this business, that business, whatever, just because of the opportunity for income. Yeah. Okay. But the truth is that when you take the time to find out, why you do what you do, then when it gets hard, you just go back to that. You train your mind to go back to that, okay? When I grew my first business into a multi-million-dollar business, I found out that it could be turnkey. I didn't know that until I read Michael Gerber's book, The E-Myth, and I said, wow, I can have a turnkey, like I can have a business that runs by itself. Never thought about such a thing. So I built systems. Then I had to learn how to become a leader. Then I had to learn the financial piece of it. And so finally I get a thing turnkey. And the main reason that I got it turnkey was so I go to the beach more. Uh-huh. I kind of regretted moving to Houston because now I'm away from my paradise down in Destin, Florida. And so if I have a turnkey business, I can just go to the beach all the time, right? Fair enough. And so that was my original why, which is a little bit shallow, okay? And then somehow I got in this business and phenomenal products, and I was doing it to help people, to tell the truth, because too many people were getting ripped off, and just a bunch of, you know how it is, you're in this industry. There's a lot of shysters out there.
Yeah. One-stop shop, quick in and out, trying to make a quick buck.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so I want to help people.
Yep.
I didn't realize that I was going to fall in love with small business owners. And so when it gets hard, and it does, every stage, that you go, every layer of every time you bring on a team member or whatever, do a new project or whatever, something sort of, runs its cycle, and you got to reinvent and all that kind of stuff. You got to remind yourself why. And so what my why now, my purpose now is I care about the people that I serve. I care about their business because their business impacts their life. Mm-hmm. And it's unbelievable to even be able to say this, but almost every day I get a text or email or whatever that someone's life was changed through the work that we do. Mm-hmm. And sometimes, even as recent as this weekend, their life was saved, that they were ready to give up. And it just blows my mind. So Even if I wanted to quit, I can't. And I get to go to the beach
Yeah.
enough. I spend the whole summer at the beach, so don't feel sorry for me.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I want to add on to what you're saying real quick. You kept mentioning God. How important has God been in the trajectory of everything?
It's whether people know it or not, it's the most important thing.
I agree.
So, yeah.
I agree 100%.
I don't know if you're faith-based or not.
I am very faith-based, yes.
Yeah, so I came to know the Lord in 1987, and it's just God created you,
I agree.
okay, and He has a plan for your life, so why not be close to your Creator? You know, it only makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So now that I have this community, and this year I'll be 65,
Mm-hmm.
I said, okay, a couple of years ago, I'm thinking ahead, like, okay, I need to leave a legacy behind. How am I going to keep this work going? I have a son. I have Santiago as my right-hand man. I got a great team. But I franchise my business so that other people can do what I do, right?
Of course.
And I have grandkids now, so now my purpose is a combination of helping our clients get their business more predictable, more profitable, turnkey, help them with their life. Hopefully they'll come to know the Lord. Hopefully they'll grow in the Lord and make a difference in their life and their family. And, you know, my family, my wife and my grandkids, my son and my daughter-in-law. So they have a house. I bought a house for them too in Florida, so that when the kids are out of school, when my grandkids are out of school, they could just be with us for the whole summer. Because my son and my daughter-in-law, they work with me. They work for me, so, you know, they can just relocate. And then the rest of the year, I use that house for clients.
I want to talk about, we were talking about before the podcast, the events and how sometimes it's oversaturated, and then how everyone wants to be an online training coach and have their own course.
Yeah.
Which is funny because people always follow trends. I guess for anyone that wants to, you know, attack a specific market and niche, I remember Kaiser said the riches are in the niches.
Yeah.
How would you approach someone that just wants to be successful, but they're kind of confused? They need guidance. Like, hey, man, I want it. I understand it, but I don't know where to go.
Yeah. I have a very simple formula in my book called FTI. I was talking about purpose a second ago. So there's five, I call it the 5 P's of purpose, okay? So first is understand your potential. If you don't understand your value, your gifts, you don't understand yourself. So we do like personality profiles and things like that so people can understand their makeup, right? Then really think about the problem that you want to solve, because all entrepreneurship is it's finding a problem that you want to solve and the people that you want to solve it for, right? So you said get rich in the niche, right? So who do you want to serve? You know, because I'm not going to have, I might find a, you know, solve a problem for, I might be able to solve a problem for, you know, I'm trying to think of a good example, but I can't think of a good example because I can
Latino
solve,
market. Latino
okay,
market.
well, I happen to love Latinos, so we're good there. So,
there you go. Beautiful.
in fact, I have a whole bunch of Latinos on my team, and I just love, Latinos have changed my life.
You had Colombian food?
I love Colombian
It's
food.
phenomenal.
Santiago's been with me since he was 17 years old. He's from Colombia. He's 41 today, so he's been with me for 24 years, almost 25 years.
What's the secret on that, on the retention of having an employee for so long?
I just wrote a book on that. It's called How to Build a Phenomenal Dream Team.
Wow.
How to Build a Phenomenal Dream Team. Yeah. That's a whole show all by itself.
I bet, yeah.
But anyway, getting back to, so what's the problem that you're passionate about, right?
Yeah.
And so there's the potential, there's the problem, there's the passion, and then that brings you to your purpose. So I'm passionate about business success. I'm passionate about personal development. And the problem that I want to solve is small business owners who are a slave to their business. I mean, you know, you go into business for freedom, and yet you're working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So that's what I teach, is people how to solve that problem. Okay. So then, so just imagine a triangle, right? At the bottom is potential. This side is passion. This side is problem, and then in the middle is your purpose. And then you just need to find a path. And so the path also has to do with your passion. Do you like to speak? Do you like to serve? Do you like to write? Do you like to interview people? Do you like to build buildings? I mean,
Yeah.
you know, you find a way to. What's the path where you can accomplish that purpose?
I agree. How many books have you written or published?
I think 13 of my own.
That's a crazy. Your facial expression says it all.
Yeah.
The fact that you have to think about how many
yeah,
books.
because I got 3 books I'm working on right now. I'm writing a book with Brian Tracy. I just finished a book called Referrals Made Simple: How to Grow Your Business Without Paid Advertising.
Yeah.
And Donald Miller. Do you know Donald Miller?
I do not.
So Donald Miller's wrote a book called Story Brand, and he's a colleague of mine. And Story Brand Imprint, I think, is going to publish that one. So that one's next. And I got one with Brian Tracy. And I'm actually doing a co-author book right now where people can become a co-author with me. It's called Phenomenal Business Success. So a lot of my clients I'm going to get 25 of my clients. We just launched this at my event this past weekend. And so we're going to get 25 of my clients to write their business story and be a part of that book so they can be a co-author with me.
I love that.
That'll be, 16. Plus I wrote a book for Russell Ibarra. So
Nice.
yeah, I don't know if I get to count that one.
Yeah, I count in my book. Hey, no pun intended.
It's his book. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
It's his book, but I wrote it.
So let me ask you, this is a good question, actually. I was just thinking about it. You know, people have a bucket list. Oh, I want to do this, I want to do that. I think some people, I would say, like, oh, I would love to publish a book. I guess, one of your pro tips here, if you want to write a book, how do you go about it?
Well, so first have a subject that people are actually interested in. Mm-hmm. Everybody's writing about the same stuff, you know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I do.
Anyway, you find a problem that's like a real problem for people that you care about. Mm-hmm. And then it's a real problem that everybody and their brother hasn't written on. Even if everybody and their brother's written on goals or whatever, find something unique, a unique hook or a unique way, okay?
Yep.
For example, how many leadership books are there in the world?
I'm sure a lot.
Gazillions. I wrote a book called The Power of Community. It's a leadership book. How phenomenal leaders inspire their teams while their customers make bigger profits. There's plenty of leadership books out there, but I have a unique model and a unique concept around community, which is the answer to your question, how to build a phenomenal dream team. You got to really know how to build a community, which most people don't even know what community is. Anyway, then once you have the concept, then what you want to do is create an introduction that sort of explains what the book is all about, the problem, and that you're going to find the solution in this book, and then an outline, okay? And outline your chapters first. Like when I wrote that book, The Power of Community, I had a big whiteboard. Like, actually, I used paper. I used flip chart paper, you know, that big, that tall. And the entire thing was filled with a mind map. And so the concept, the introduction, all the points and stories in the introduction, chapter 1, all the points and stories in chapter 1, all the way around the wheel, and you just build it out like a skeleton, and then you could just start writing.
Would you say, I guess in the aspect of writing the book, I would say it requires a lot of discipline, of course. What's the secret sauce there? I know purpose could be a main factor, but you know, maintaining discipline and consistency, I think, is what really takes you to that extra mile. What's the secret there on getting to that point?
To me, it's how bad do you want it? And it's also the ability to prioritize.
Yeah.
Because we get busy in the business.
Yeah.
And I want to do this. Well, I'm going to have to figure out how to get my business to where it can run without me, or get other people involved that can run those parts of my business so I can focus on that. That book took a lot of hours, a lot. Nowadays, you got some more tools. You got ghostwriters like Russell Ibarra doesn't have time to write a book.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got how many restaurants does he have now? Like 28, I think. And that's just gringos. and he has several other brands too.
Yeah.
I mean, they're doing, last I checked 2 years ago, they did 160 million. They're starting a new location that I just saw on his Instagram. And so he's a busy man. So he asked me to write the book for him, you know? And so anything you do or don't do is directly related to your desire, your vision, and your belief. So if the desire's high enough, you're going to have a vision. I got a vision. I can't tell you what it is yet because I don't want somebody to steal it.
Proprietary, NDA.
Yeah. But I mean, you just never know when it's going to come. But you got to put yourself in a position.
Yeah.
So I had my high-end group. After my event, we have an extra day where we go do like a field trip, and we went to this company to see how they do everything. And man, I got this vision. It was just like, you know how you've been thinking about different ways to do something for years, then all of a sudden, like it just clinks together.
Yeah.
It's just like, and I was like,
boom.
Man, on the plane, I was just like the whole time. Then I emailed my partners the next morning, and they're like excited. It's going to be big, and so you're excited about it. If you're not excited,
Passionate, yeah.
if you're not passionate, you're not gonna take action, right? And it's not gonna happen by accident. So I would say that if you feel unmotivated, then you need to check your desire level and figure out why. Because honestly, like last year, I was getting burned out.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like another conference to plan, another book to write, another just like I was just getting kind of burnt out.
Yeah.
I took some time off, and that helps. You get refreshed. But now I got a new vision. I'm just like wired.
For anyone that gets burned out, it's normal to get burned out.
It's normal.
Okay. So I have a question for you. So I always find it interesting because a lot of the guests that we have are very successful. And I would say business overall has similar blueprints, formulas, right? Sales, marketing, so-and-so. Now, I like to dig deep in that mindset of the person. And it always goes back to, for the most part, the subconscious way of thinking, but that ties into childhood. Would you say a lot of that success and desire comes from the tough childhood that you had?
I think the tenacity does.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's interesting that you say that because I think the way we're wired, and I mentioned to you that we not only teach personality styles, but we also certify people in that. And everybody has a certain wiring, a certain personality, certain gifts. From as far back as I could remember, I could just see stuff that other people couldn't see. I could see like, okay, that needs to be fixed. Here's how you can fix it. That needs to be fixed. This is how I got this problem. Well, here, do this. Think about it this way. I've just always had that, right? And then my upbringing, I think, when you're poor like that, and you have a mother who is just like tenacious, I learned that. I just learned you don't give up. You got to just keep, fighting until you get there.
Always. Yeah.
But here's the cool thing. The cool thing is that regardless of any of those scenarios, coaching is the key. I found a mentor, and my business was like in chaos, and good money and all that, but I was working 24 hours a day. And my spiritual mentor said, Howard, you need the E-Myth. I'm like, what's an E-Myth? And turns out it's a book by Michael E. Gerber. Read the E-Myth, got my business systematized. And then when I started speaking and training, Michael became a friend of mine.
Wow.
And he's been on my stage many times. And 2 years ago, he moved right here to Houston. He lives in Katy.
Michael E. Gerber?
Michael E. Gerber lives in Katy,
Oh, yeah,
Texas.
get him into the podcast.
Oh, he'll
here.
come down here.
Beautiful. Let's do it. That's
I can get him here for you.
That'd be great.
100%. Yeah. And so Michael and I are great friends. We're neighbors now. I'm doing stuff with them. In fact, there's something that you might really be. Are you a Michael Gerber fan?
I've read The E-Myth.
Okay. All right. So we're working on a project right now that's, yeah. And so, anyway.
Let's do it in Spanish too. Yeah.
What's that?
Let's do it in Spanish too, the project.
100%.
There you go.
I want to do everything that I do in Spanish.
I'm your man.
So, good. Okay, perfect. So, anyway, get a mentor, get a coach. Like if you're, so you might need a mindset coach. Hey, why am I, not motivated? So I need somebody to help me explore that, help me find that dream, find that. That's one of the books that Michael wrote. And one of the things that he does is he does something called the dreaming room, and finding that dream, awaken the entrepreneur within. That was the book that another book that he wrote. And so what I did is I found coaches. And so I had financial issues, so I hired a financial coach, and I went from being tremendously in debt to debt-free today and super profitable in everything that I do. I was struggling with leadership, so got a leadership coach, started going leadership training. So coaching and training will help you, because nobody is good at everything.
Agreed.
Everybody has to give, but nobody's good at everything.
Yep.
So there's only one thing better than coaching that'll get you back on track. You want to know what it is?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay. It's a community of coaches and trainers and other entrepreneurs. So that's really what I do, is we have a community, not an online community where people, but like real community, like where if you wanna know marketing, we got marketing experts. If you wanna know sales, we got sales experts. If you wanna know leadership, and on and on and on. So I built this network of people like Michael Gerber, like Ellen Rohr, like even Tommy Mello, and people like that are in my network that I can bring to the table if my people need to know what they know.
I think that's ideal. That's pretty much what I do too. People ask me, mentorship, and I think mentorship expedites the process too, because they've been there, done that.
Yep.
But also I have, for example, like you mentioned, I have a spiritual mentor.
Yep.
I have an emotional mentor. Like he was a Navy SEAL, so if I think I'm ever going through BS, he'll tell me, hey, bud, like I've dealt with
You ain't
worse.
seen nothing, yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Obviously business, financial, like, there's some people that are so good at business, but I'm not gonna necessarily go for them for gym advice.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So I agree 100% that everyone has their own niche and area where you should obtain, just be a sponge and get it. So I think that's good that you're doing the community. Yeah. What's the 5-10 year plan, I guess, for you overall as a person, what you want to do?
Yeah, so I'll do some version of what I'm doing right now for the rest of my life, and it'll evolve as we go. As I get more coaches that'll do more of the stuff that I'm doing, I'll spend more time at the beach, and I'll spend less time traveling. I mean, I'm already warning them. I'm like, look, I'm here.
You really love the beach, huh?
Oh, man.
Is it the ocean or the waves, or is it just everything?
It's the whole environment, yeah. Okay, I'm like, that beach down there, I've walked that beach for 44 years since I was 20. I grew up going to the beach. Yeah, I love that environment. Yeah. I don't like hotel rooms, okay? I don't like to travel. I do a fair amount of travel, a lot of travel probably compared to most people. But I've already been warning my community, like my coaching community, like you're going to have to come more and more to me, because as I turn 65 and I look at the next 20 years of my life, so I'll do less traveling, less speaking, all the stuff that I'm doing now. My team will do that stuff. I'll spend more time with my grandkids. I'll always be a writer. I love to write. And I have this new project. I've got several new projects that I'm working on. So I'll just work on different things, but I'll always do some version of what I'm doing today. And
in your, I guess, opinion, would you say the American dream is very much alive, or is it gone away? Alive, 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 alive. Wake up. Yeah. I don't get it. I just turn off the television and stop going brain dead by what the media is telling you, and start reading some personal development books, okay? I mean, business books, because it is so alive today. Yeah, I mean, Tommy, our friend Tommy, started a garage door business. His mom's house. Out of his mom's garage. Yeah.
And just sold half of it for $620 million.
Yeah. Yeah, he did.
Yeah. And you and I have been around a lot of people that have
Yeah.
done that, that have scaled up. You got people speaking at your event that have built, 100, 200, $250 million companies.
Starts here.
Starts right there. That's right. Yeah.
Well, for I know we're kind of short on time now, but for any viewers seeing, what's a closing statement that you would want them to really know and obtain from viewing this?
Yeah. So the greatest life lesson that I learned, I shared the greatest business lesson, which is your business exists for one reason only, and that is to be a vehicle to help you achieve your life goals. So you have to build it like a vehicle, like an automobile, an airplane, whatever. You got to understand the systems, and there's 5 systems: leadership, marketing, sales, operations, administration. You got to get good at building relationships with people. All business, all of life is about relationships.
Yep.
And to attract the right people. You hire the wrong people, doesn't matter what you do, it's not going to work. I don't care how many systems you have. If they won't use it, you're going nowhere. That plane sits on the ground.
Yep.
That car sits in the driveway. And then the way you do that is through leadership. Everything rises and falls on leadership. So learn to be a phenomenal leader. So that's the greatest business lesson that I've ever learned. The greatest life lesson, whether it's spiritual, mental, financial, career, personal, hobbies, whatever, is family, is get around people who are already where you want to be, or they've been where you want to be, and they have a plan for you to follow. Because somebody might be a great sailor, for example. Let's say you want to learn how to sail, okay?
Yeah.
And they're just like, shh, You're like, how do you do that? I don't know. I've just been sailing all my whole life. Or you can go to sailing school. Yeah. And then you find somebody to sail with that can not only show you what to do, but they can tell you how they're doing it and give you a plan so that you can learn the formula.
Yeah.
So anything you need to learn, anything you need to know, there's somebody who's already doing it that's already been there, already done that, and that has a plan for you to follow.
And with that, you'll be phenomenal.
Well, you're already
Very phenomenal.
Remember, you're already phenomenal as a human being.
Yeah.
But you can learn, you're already phenomenal. So now you can learn to do phenomenal things and have a phenomenal outcome.
Brother,
Yes, sir.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah,
Thank
my
you so
pleasure,
much.
Stephen. Thank you.
Yep. Guys, thank you so much. I'll see you guys in the next one.